Okay, so as I was saying that we are going to continue with what we have done. So up till here we had seen in the previous discussion where I created an XML holder object. In that I pass the XML file, and this XML file is a request or XML which I send to the service call, right? Now, in order to continue from here, what we will do is first of all, so after having made this change, uh, please mute yourself, people. If you're not talking, please mute yourself. Okay. So after the change is done, let's at least try to display the XML file. So initially, let's have a look at SOAP request, which is this one. It is having some values, which is as you can see here. This is raw. This is the XML file, right? 2000 NC200, right? So this is the current values. Now what I will do is I will go back here in the Groovy script. This one here, it is let's make change to them once again. So instead of 2000, I'll make it 3000 maybe, so that you can at least see the change happening. So I'll make it 3. I'll make it 3 again here, and I'll make it 3 again here, right? So once I do that, uh, after that I'll say uh, def define a variable modified underscore xml equal to this XML holder. So I will get the modified value. Sorry, modified XML file dot get XML, right? Now let's just log dot info of this particular file. So I'll put it here, and let's try to run this. Let me first clear out all this, right? I'll say run this. So can you see that it has got modified with 3000, right? Is that right, Anamika, Kirti? So I have updated or modified the value, right? Now what I have to do is I have to write that value. I have to write that value back to the request. So currently the request is still same. Which request? SOAP request 2. If you go here, this request is still I believe if you will copy this and take in the browser, or let's say this, okay, sorry, I had to copy this one. Okay, so if I copy and show it in the editor to you here, so this value is still the old ones, right? I still have to update it so that this particular SOAP request to gets updated. So how do we do that? In order to do that, there was a set get property and set property we had done earlier, right? I'm going to again do a set property. So what do? I will take this thing, right? I'll copy it and I will put it here. Set property value. Instead of get, it is set. So I'll change it to set property value. Then attribute is basically request. So I'll copy that request here, right? And then I'll say modified XML, right? So modified XML here I'll put, and after I have done that, what I'm going to do is let's say I'll just say log.info. I'll say done, right? So I'm just done the modification, right? So let's try to run this Groovy script and see. So it shows done. Now if I go here again, right? If I so just 1 minute, where is my Groovy? So if I try to, where is my Groovy script? Yeah, this is the one. So after changes, what has come in here? It should be 3000 with the value 3000. I'll go to my test this one, custom properties. Let's go to the request. Let me copy and see what are the values there. So just let's see those values. So here I have copy and pasted the values. Can you see the values updated to 3000? So what we have done is we have updated the request object or request custom property with the updated value. Now we still have to execute this test case, right? So let's first of all see that do we have a user with this is a get, right? So let's search with 3000. Is there a user with this? No, it is not there. Cannot be null. Sorry, what is that? Method parameter cannot be null violation. What is? Okay, so method cannot. One second. Let's. Yeah, I'm just checking whether I already have. So this is a get. So let me put one more test case. I will say get all. Is there a get all already? Okay, yeah, get all is there. So let's see what all are available. So I have 2000 only, right? 3000 is not available. Fine. So now this particular modified XML has data with IDS 3000. Now we need to insert that. Okay. So how do we run it? In order to run it, we have this particular line of code to be executed, tst step dot run, and here in the argument we give this test runner on the top right, which is there, tst runner comma context. Okay, context for add. What is this context for add? Context for add is a context corresponding to corresponding to this particular uh, test step. So how do we create this context? So this parameter is already defined, predefined and given to us, right? So in order to do that, I will get this soap request. Just 1 minute. So I will get this whole thing, this particular, and here I will say this is my test step, right? So I'll say def tst step, right? This is my test step. I'll take this test step, and in order to create the context, I will say def. I will use this name as the name of the context equals to new of. I have done one import here. I will take this attribute, oh sorry, rather not attribute, this class. I'll say new, and in that I'll pass this as an argument, the test step. Now again the question is, how do I know it? I checked it from documentation and some examples. So if I go here and if I try to Google, for example, so let's try to Google this, this documentation, right? If we'll go in here, let's see what's available in this. So if you will come down, can you see here, all of you, that if you will, all of you see here that there is this which accepts a test step, right? Smita, can you see? Sandeep?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So because it takes a test step as an argument, and this is the test run context, the context which we want to use to run the test case, right? So I first created a test step, and how do we do it? By creating this, I have already explained: runner, test case, suit, test case, name of test case, and that test step. So since I want to execute this particular step, I create an object to that, or reference to that, you can say, and then I create a run context, and then test step. I'll say uh, test step just 1 minute. I think okay. So on that test tab, I will say test runner. This test runner is this object which is already predefined and available to us in the SOAP UI, and the context I just create for executing this. So how do I know this? If you look at the documentation of test tab, there will be a method called run. Okay, so let's go to the documentation. So this is which one? WS Vistel. So this is test tab. Test tab. If you will go to documentation of test tab, for example, this is the test tab, right? I'm clicking on the documentation. There will be a run method, right? Can you see? So I have to give the test case runner, which is this test runner, which is available to us, and I have to give the context. And once I do this, okay, let's try to run this particular. So I'm making use of. I'll let me run it. So it seems to have run successfully. Script results so and so. I'll say okay without any problem. It has executed, right? Now, if that is so, then let me say get all. Where is that get all? I'll go to my get all request, and if I try to rerun it, can you see the 3000 got inserted here? Yes, no, Pallavi, Sandeep.
Yes.
Okay, so now what we will try is, let us try it out. Smita, I will just help you out to start your Eclipse somehow. Just give me some time. Uh, so till here we have done. Now please slowly and patiently do the rest of the steps. I'm sharing this on the chat with you. Don't be in hurry to do it, because if there is a mistake, it takes a while to resolve it. So execute one, add one line to your Groovy script, run it, see there is no problem. Do it for the next line, do it for the next line, do one by one. Okay. So Sandeep, do you have this code up till here already?
I have it, but I missed it yesterday.
Okay, so let's try to run this one complete script with the help of what we have just done. Okay, so you can, if you want, I'll share this whole script with you. Use it as a reference, and then see if you can make it to work. Okay, so I'm putting it on the chat for all of you. Let's take it from the chat here on. Okay, so I have shared it. Please try it slowly. Don't be in hurry. Add one line, run the script. Add second line, run script. Add third line, run the script, and then only make progress. Don't add multiple lines and then say problem is happening. Try it with one step at a time. Smita, can you share your screen? Okay, for now, wait. There is no need for Groovy. Don't install it. Just let it be. There is no need. Cancel this. Cancel it. Show your Eclipse. On your Eclipse, you have that, yeah. Right click and try to run it, Smita. Run as. Yeah, it is running now. Start your SOAP POI and start. It is working fine now. Start your SOAP POI.
Yes, when I
Hello.
was, it was not letting me create it.
Okay, don't forget it. You don't need to do it right away. There is no need. You can directly start working on the SOAP POI.
Okay.
In the test suite, go to test suite. Okay. Right click and create a test. Create a test case. Call it new test case. Yeah. Call it script. SCRIP. Yeah. Say okay. Yeah. Close. You can close this. Go to script. Add test step. Right click on the script and add test step. Select the text test step. Right click and add. Select test step. Say Groovy script. Did you choose the Groovy? Yeah, okay. Did you choose the option Groovy script? Yeah, yeah. Say, okay, now here start writing the code which I have given to you and start writing line by line, one line at a time. Don't try to write multiple lines. I've just sent on WhatsApp to you.
Is it possible to send that code here on the chat?
Sorry,
I think
please.
the code is not complete, sir. I think you need to paste the complete code.
No, I sent the whole code. Just
Uh, can you ping it here on chat if possible?
where did I send? Oh, okay. I sent it on the. Yeah, it is a complete code. I sent it on the chat. In both the chats I have shared.
Okay.
Sir, I am getting some error at that second last step. Define context add equal to new.
Just share your screen.
If I run this,
Which
line
line?
31.
Yeah, line close that line 31. So done. Test runner, test case suit. So test cases. Do you have this test case name? Test
Yes.
case 1. Okay, you have that. Then test steps. So request underscore add. Line 31, right?
Yes. Yes.
So context equal to news. So is this WSD? Okay, you have to import this. Did you import it? WSDL test runner. Import it. At the top there is one. Yeah, import that whole thing. I have given you one in that chat
Okay.
only.
Okay, sir. I am stopping my share.
Yeah, okay. Okay, what we will do is we'll continue the session. Let's break for 10 minutes. I'll come back and we'll continue. If you want, you can also take break. Okay, I'll come back in 10 minutes and
Okay.
resume our session.
Hey, Pallavi, you are on call? Pallavi? Rita?
Hi schools, let me know if you are back.
Naresh,
Yes,
I'm getting null pointer exception here
you're
because
share your screen.
yeah.
Which line you're getting? Line number 4. Smita, you don't have the test case names. I told you, right? They have to be your test case.
Number 4, yeah.
Line number 4, you have test case underscore add. Does it have a step soap request?
Oh, yes. Hmm.
And please don't run all of it together. I told you to run line by line. Right? Take one line, execute it,
Yeah.
take one line, execute it. Otherwise, it will be.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't get that point actually. So how do we run line by line? Just select and run, right?
No. Remove, delete everything, copy paste from other editor line by line.
Okay. And then as I go on copying every single line, I run it, right?
Execute and see so that it's easy, right? If you have a lot of code, you will not know where the problem has happened. Make one line run and then go to another line.
Yeah. Okay.
Naresh, I have a question regarding custom properties.
Yes.
Yeah, so custom
Can you
properties,
share your is there something you want to share?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear, but I can see your screen.
Oh, I'm not sharing. Let me share. Yeah, so custom properties is like these are I have set on project level, right? And test suite level, I can add custom properties as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
And what about that? Can we add on test step level or no?
Yes, we can, right? Test step. Click on the test case. Test case you can add
Right,
on that. Now choose one. Click on add. So this is test case, right? Now choose, no, wait.
right.
Now choose add. Choose one of the step add. Not here.
Okay, add. Okay,
There, there. Click on custom properties.
okay,
So here you cannot add, right?
right.
Yeah. So up till here you can, but here I told you in the one of the discussion that you can create a file. If you right click here, if you right click on this.
Yeah, here, right?
No, that was export import. 1 minute, I'll just show you that option.
Okay. Yeah, I think I still need to
Add
cover that
step.
one more. Yeah,
There was
okay,
this property transfer and properties option is there.
okay. Yeah, because see, I don't have that much test data set up. So,
So you can
like,
do it now also, right? In the
right.
project level, go to custom property and create 1, 2, 3, one more. That's it. You can use that data only.
Okay. So here, this line I ran as a test add, and I have add.
See here, you made it project underscore age. It should be capital P underscore age, right?
Right.
That's it.
I think. Oh, no. Actually, I copied again. That's why it got messed up. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it should be ID, and if I run this, yeah, I'm getting that data.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Naresh, Sandeep here.
Yes, Sandeep.
Yeah, so what basically we did with this script is whatever the project properties were there, so we put those values in our SOAP request,
Yes,
right?
that is right.
That was okay, fine.
And executed the script through Groovy.
Okay, fine. Okay, got it.
Okay, so all of you, are you all done? Can we move ahead?
Yeah, just one more question. Like, just explain a little bit how we will use this kind of scripting in real world. Like, real world means in our project, and somehow little detail.
Yeah,
So,
so
give an example.
we still have a lot to cover. So
Okay.
after today's this discussion, we'll start with TestNG framework, where
Okay.
we will do pure coding and maybe
Okay.
Groovy scripting and automation. Okay, so still we have, I mean, so this is how you write script, right?
Okay.
Once you have an idea of writing script, then we'll write some test cases using TestNG and other things, and then we'll integrate all of this together.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was trying to like connect the dot.
Yeah, so
Like how that.
we have still not reached that far.
Okay.
So we are taking up things one by one. So first we got comfortable with creating request and response, right? Then
Right.
Groovy script, and then executing those tests which we have written, test step using Groovy, right?
Okay.
And then how we will call all this with different testing and all that, we will still, I mean, we still have to see all of it. So it is
Okay.
yet to come.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so I hope all of you are done. I can move ahead now. So next is, okay, so there is a little bit of assertions. Now, since you have been able to do this, maybe as an exercise later on, what you can try is that you can perform two operations together, right? One is to perform maybe an add operation, like this is a SOAP request, which is performing add
Naresh, are
operation.
you sharing screen? I don't see.
I didn't. Okay, fine. Just 1 minute. Okay. So as I was saying, that currently what you did, you just performed one single operation using this script, which I have shown to you and which you must have tried. So now you can club various operations together. When I say various operation, what I mean by that is operation to maybe insert and then get data, right?
Naresh, I missed your last 2-3 sentences. There was some audio issue. Can you?
Okay, can you hear now?
repeat that?
Can you hear now, Sandeep? Are you able to hear
After
now?
sharing screen, what you said.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that, see, currently
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We can see, but cannot hear again.
okay, can you hear?
Yep.
Yes, we can
Okay,
hear
I've
and
connected with
see
my
also.
broadband now. Okay, so what I was saying is this, that see, just now you did one single test case execution, right? So now you can, now that you know this scripting, what you can do is as an exercise, perform multiple steps together, add and fetch, and then perform a delete, right? So as you have seen that you took this test case, set property. So as an exercise, what you can try is this. Let's go here. So if you, so what we have just done is we have just tried one single test case wherein you get the request, right, and then you update it with values, update it, and then you set it back, set property, and then you perform or executed the test case using this line test step dot run, running the test case. Now this was one single scenario. Now you can club together. First is to insert, maybe add data to the system using web service. Then second is you can get that data, and then third is you can delete that, right? So just try out these steps so that you can get some practice. I mean, all of it is going to remain same except that the test cases will change and the parameter values will change. So please try it out. That will give you some practice for what we have already done just now. Is it clear, everyone? Okay, now we will so this is one of the things, as you were saying, how do we put it all together? So when you club all these operations together, it maybe it can constitute a single operation or some operation which you are trying to test. Okay, later on we will try to use and call some of this code using some test cases. That is something called test-ng that I'm going to discuss next. Okay, now we still need to work on assertions. Assertions I'll visit later. Maybe some detailed assertions we'll look at in test-ng, and something to do with Groovy I will come back to it later on. But for now, let's get started with test-ng. So for now we have an idea of what is a Groovy scripting. We performed a basic operation, and then let's move on to test-ng, a new framework. So I think so Kirti already knows test-ng. Is there anybody who knows test-ng already?
I know some basics about that.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
Okay, so what is test-ng? First of all, test-ng is a framework. So what is a framework? So you can visit this blog here of mine to understand the definition of what is a framework. It is a definition with a very simple example so that you can get sense of what is a framework. Okay, so if you will go here, I have this definition to explain what is a framework. It explains it very well. So you can read it later on if you want to. But for now, I'll just explain this highlighted piece of code. So let's say, Anamika, if I told you to cut a piece of paper with dimension 5 by 5, then surely you would do that, right? But suppose I ask you to cut a piece of, cut 1,000 pieces of paper of same dimension. In this case, you won't do measuring 1,000 times, right? Obviously, you will make a frame of 5 by 5, and then with the help of it, you would be able to cut 1,000 pieces of paper in less time. So what I'm trying to say is I give you a very big piece of paper, a big sheet of paper. It's very huge, and I'm asking you to cut it into smaller, maybe square, for example. So you won't measure it again and again. You will keep do measuring once, and then you will cut it, and then later on you will keep moving it, and with the help of this frame you will keep cutting rest of the paper, right, Anamika? Yeah, so this is what you will do, and others, that is what we are going to do. So what we have basically done is that we have built a frame, an outline or a frame that is easing our work or helping us do the repetitive task over and over again with less effort, right? That something is called a framework. So coming back to the definition here, so what you did was make a framework which would do a specific type of task. Instead of performing the same type of task again and again for the same type of application, you create a framework having all those facilities together in one nice packet, hence providing the abstraction for your application, and more importantly, many applications. So when we tend to talk of building a framework, and we'll also build a framework in this course. Why we build a framework? As you can see, the benefit is that repetitive task which you are going to do over and over again, it becomes easy with the help of a framework, right, Sandeep? So that is what is meant by a framework. Smita, do we understand what is a framework?
Yeah.
Yeah. So more of it you will understand after we complete the test engine. But we have a sense that framework is like a outline or a structure which help us solve a specific problem, and not only it helps us to solve it, but it also help us to do the same task over and over again with less effort, which otherwise would be difficult. I mean, if I'm trying to cut this paper, I don't want to measure so thousand times. It's a waste of time, right? Instead, I create an outline or a frame, and then with that, I do the task which I'm required to do or which I'm planning to do, right? So now, what we are going to do is uh, TestNG is a very powerful framework, and I guess Kirti, you already have studied TestNG in details, right? But
Yeah.
if you want, it will be a revision for you. So TestNG is an independent framework. What is an Eclipse? Eclipse is an editor. And what is an editor? Where you are writing your code and all that stuff, right? Eclipse is called IDE, Integrated Development Environment, because it gives you a lot of features, lot of options, right? So first of all, what we will do today is we are going to install the plugin of TestNG in this particular Eclipse, right? Like we installed the plugin of Groovy, right? So why do we need to install it? So that we can execute the TestNG test cases from our Eclipse. So first thing which I am going to do is I'll go to Windows, Show View, and Other. Right here, I'll type TestNG. Okay, so in my case, TestNG is already installed. Okay, so can you all please go and verify it in your machines that Windows Show View. If you go to Other and type TestNG, is this option already available for you all?
Yes.
Okay, Kirti has. What about Anamika, Pallavi, Sandeep, Smita?
What was the, sorry, testing? Okay.
TestNG.
Okay. So it's under Window, Show View, and
Other, Windows Show View. Go to
Others. Okay. Other. And
So mostly you will not have it because
yeah, I don't have.
okay. So
Yeah.
okay, so for the people who do not have it, go to Help, go to Eclipse Marketplace, and here type TestNG, Eclipse Marketplace, and type TestNG and perform a search. So, Anamika, can you share your screen? Since you do not have it, we will try it on your machine.
Sure. Okay. And here.
Type TestNG. And the second one, TestNG for Eclipse.
Install.
Yeah. So this also will take a little while, depending
Okay.
on internet speed.
Okay. So should I stop
No,
sharing?
no, let it keep happening.
Okay.
It's getting recorded actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you can uncheck the second option, and then confirm. I hope others are also trying it, Sandeep and Pallavi and Smita.
Yeah.
So okay, it's I guess almost done. So towards the end, it will prompt you that it is unsigned and all that stuff. Do you want to continue? We will say yes, and then we'll restart our Eclipse, and your TestNG plugin will get installed in the Eclipse.
Okay.
So I think maybe in a day or two, I don't know when, either today or sometime this week, those videos which are currently freely available on YouTube, I'm going to make them restricted, and I'll share the credentials with you when I do that. So in case you are not able to access it, don't panic. They'll get password protected, and I'll share the credentials if I do that. So just be aware of that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's saying keep so installation can as requested. Keep my installation similar. Okay, so just say let it be and say confirm.
So just confirm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just confirm it.
Narendra,
Yeah, just 1 minute. Now here you accept the license and just say finish, and it will ask you to restart the Eclipse. Just restart and you will be done. Yes, Smita.
so the warning message that comes, we just have to say install anyway, right?
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah, that's right. Okay, so
It's saying installing software. So I
yeah,
think.
yeah, so it will take a few more minutes maybe.
Okay.
Yes, here say okay. Okay, so this should get your setup ready. So I'll share my screen now. Can you stop sharing, Anamika?
Sure.
Okay, now while you people are in process of installation, I mean, Kirti has already done this in lot details. We are not going to go in as much details. Maybe Kirti for this one, we will see how much we are going to cover. But TestNG is a very, very powerful framework which is used for the purpose of automation. And so let me take you through this official website of TestNG first of all. So if you will go here, testng.org, this is the official website of TestNG, and most of what we are going to discuss for next half an hour is available here. But anyway, let's uh, have that discussion. So I'll say TestNG. I'll open up my. Okay, so this is something we have already done, right? How to install the plugin and all that. All this we have talked about. Now let's start with a little bit of coding to understand how TestNG work. But before we do that, what is TestNG? TestNG is a testing framework, meaning that we are going to write most of our test cases using TestNG framework. And NG stands for next generation. What is next generation? Next generation, it means that actually TestNG was written or got created after a couple of frameworks which were already there in the industry. So it took best features of all the frameworks, and it gave some additional features other than what was already available in the market, and therefore it named itself as next generation, meaning it having the best of all the existing frameworks. Then we can perform various testing like unit test, functional test, end-to-end test, UI test, and all those tests can be performed with the help of TestNG framework. Okay, so let's try some coding now. I mean, we have talked enough about TestNG. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you access to one of my project, which is actually not uh, specifically API automation project, but one of my Selenium project. So I'm giving you access to that project in Bitbucket. So whatever code I will do in front of you, I'll show you how to access it from the Bitbucket in a couple of minutes. Okay. So Sandeep, do you have my Bitbucket credentials already? Sandeep, Anamika?
I have
Did
I
I
have
share?
it, but I never used it.
Okay.
I think we have an email, so
Okay.
if
So
it's same, then
please.
yeah, we can use.
So with time, I mean, the coding is going to increase. We'll do a lot of coding. So it will not be possible for me to share all of this information with you via the chat and all that. Okay. So please start making use of Bitbucket. So while my Eclipse is coming up, so can you all please log in into this URL? I will share the credentials with you on your WhatsApp I'm sending. So I've sent the URL. Please click on that. I'm giving username. Please take the username and password. Also, I'm just giving in 1 minute.
Naresh, can you please share this URL on chat window?
Yeah, I will do that. Just 1 minute. I'll put it on the chat also. So I've shown the URL, username, and password also I'm sharing. Okay, so please see if you can connect to it and let me know. This is important because now onwards, all the code is going to be in Bitbucket. I will not share it on the chat and all that. You have to take it from one of my repository. Are you able to access? Please let me know quickly.
Naresh, password, are you going to?
I have pinged you. Please don't
Oh,
speak up.
okay,
That's
sure, sure,
recorded.
sure,
Yeah, I have
sure.
already pinged on the chat.
Okay.
Is anyone using Cucumber in their project? Anamika, are you using Cucumber?
Yeah, in our project, they are going to start Cucumber.
Okay.
So,
And Kirti, are you also, is your company also using Cucumber?
Yes, like not full-fledged, but they are starting with this BDD framework.
Okay, okay, yeah, fine.
yeah, I can access that.
Okay, others
I,
also please log in
Yes.
quickly, because now I will not ping you the code and all that. You have to access it through Bitbucket. It will become difficult. It's a lot of code I have to share now. So Sandeep, Pallavi, are you done? Smita?
Not yet actually. I'm network is slow.
Sorry? You will what? What, Sandeep?
I'm still trying that. Just
Yeah.
that's the Bitbucket is not opening for me. I'll maybe in 1 minute it will be done.
Okay. What about Smita and Pallavi?
I'm logging in,
Okay, Pallavi.
but this worked for me before, so it should work actually.
Yeah, it will work. I mean, I'm just going to show you how to access the code. Okay. So,
Yeah, it's working for me.
okay, fine. So what I'm going to do is all the code that I'm going to write is going to be here for me. So let me create I'm creating one package com.c2t.weekend dot this is API dot that was 08. Just 1 minute. Okay, so I'll put all this code which we are going to do now in this package, and I'll show you how to access it. So it is com.c2t API dot ist 8 w. Okay, so let me create a simple file here. I'll check it in Bitbucket, and then you will check and let me know whether you are able to access. So it is com c22 API is for API testing ist 800, because we do at 800 weekend class session 1. So let me create a file here. So once I do that, I'll create a file. I'll call here test. Let me create any file test and tstng1. Right, a simple file, nothing inside, just empty file. Let me check it in the Bitbucket, and then you people will tell me whether you are able to see it. So I'll go to properties. I'll go to the directory. I'm going to check in the code. So don't worry how the check-in is I'm doing. Just let me know if you can access the code or not. So /git. Okay. So code is getting checked in. Okay, so check-in is done. Now please follow it with me. So if you will go to this project, if you will go to if we are src test, go to src test, and then go to com.c2t test ng. 1 second, what is the directory? src test is there, then Java is there. src test, 1 second. I'll go to src, under src, I'll go to test, under that I'll go to Java. So can you please come up till here, src test Java, all of you?
Yes.
Anamika and Pallavi. SRC test Java.
Yeah, I can see Java.
Yeah, under that go to COM. Under that go to C2T. Okay, so it was COM C2T, then API. Come down. Okay, so it does not seem to have API. I have to refresh it maybe.
API.
Refresh it, and you will see API.
Yeah, I can see API now after alert. Yep, I can see API.
Yeah. If you go inside the API, you will see IST 800 weekend session 1. Inside this,
Yeah.
you will see the file here.
Yes.
Yeah, all of you, Smita, Pallavi, Sandeep.
Yes.
Yes.
Sandeep, you also found?
No, still the website is not opening for me.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So, can I quickly
Yeah,
share
I'll
my
figure it out.
Sorry?
Can I quickly share my screen because I think I lost it. I could.
So once, give me control. So you can go to. In fact, if in case you can't find it sometime, just refresh it. Simplest way is like this. Can't find it, no problem. Go here. Okay, one is you can navigate. Another thing is I just did a refresh. There is an API, right? Keyword search for API. Can you see your API somewhere? Or I created 800 just now, right? 800 is unique. 800. Okay, it's refresh. No, you are looking at core Java,
Yeah.
Smita. You have
Yeah,
to.
I by mistake clicked on that.
But you didn't log in. That means recently you view all repositories. Click on view all repositories. Yeah, here you have to look at this one, right? Type here API. API.
Oh, sorry.
Type API. That might no. Yeah, here. Can you see this one?
Yeah.
Click there, and you are in that file. Fine. So now you can copy and paste the code from here rather than me sending on the chat every time or mailing and all that. Okay. So still we have to do a lot of things here. Let's get started. Okay. Can you stop sharing your screen? So let's get started with some test-ng. Okay. So what I'll do is I've created a file. Now generally when we write a program in Java, we used to say public static void main, right? This is okay. We used to say public static void main and then sys out. I'll say hello world, right? Now this is generally how we did a small Java program. Right click, maybe run as run as. Okay, run as Java application. So it will give you hello world. Now in the case of test-ng, when you are executing your test cases with test-ng, there is no need for main and all that. What I do is we'll create some test cases and execute them, right? So let's say I have a method called public void tst1 open bracket close bracket, right? Here I'll say sys out of test1. Now what you have to do at the top here, you have to put an annotation called @ TEST, control spacebar, and you have to import this annotation here, right? Now when you are doing this, you have to take care of few things. That is, you have to include the jar files of test-ng in your class path. So how do we do that? Let's say if I had a project like this, so you have to first of all create a project in the Eclipse. Maybe I have not told you that, but I'll do that. We'll go to File, New, Java. You can give any name. I'll call it tstng, right? And you can finish it. I believe you know some basic Java, so you can create a project. In this, you will say right click, new, and create a folder where we'll keep our jar files. I'll call it lips, right? And in the lips, what I will do is I will copy my jar files. So I'll go to downloads, Selenium test ng. So these are the jar files you have to copy. I'll give it to you in couple of minutes. So I'll first of all copy the file here, right? Clear so far, everyone? Now, in order to make use of test-ng, I have to include this jar files in the class path. So how do I do that? Select 1, 2, 3 and say right click, and you can say build path and add to build path, right? Once you do that, then you can write a code like this. Okay, so let me share that link with you, test-ng link. I will. Okay, my bookmarks, where is weekly Google Docs? So I'm sharing the link from where you can download the test-ng jar files. Download them, unzip them, and add it in the class path like I just showed you. Test-ng. So can you all please download this link which I'm sharing with you on the chat? Please click on that Google Drive link and download the jar zip file, unzip it, and put all the jar files in your class path. Please do that quickly.
We need to create one new Java project, right? Test
Yes,
ng.
create a new Java project. Yeah.
So we need to build that path, right? By importing external jar.
Yeah, so you can copy it and then simply say right click, add to the class path, right? So you don't have to, just share your screen and I'll tell you what to do.
I'll cancel this.
Yeah, just cancel this. You can do it like this also, but I told you an easier way. So yeah, so come down, create a folder here.
This is
and
my project ng folder. TG project is my.
yeah, create a folder here with the name lib and copy that zip file I gave you from that, copy the jar files here.
Okay. So right click on for project itself, right?
Yeah, right click and create a folder. Yeah.
This is lib, and here I need to copy that.
Yes, copy the jar files here.
Okay. Just
Yeah, Naresh, I have created new project, and then you said need to
Unzip it.
yeah, unzip it. I have created new project in Eclipse.
Create a folder. In that folder, put the
Oh, create the folder. Okay. Create folder. Where am I? I'm not seeing. Okay. New folder. Okay. And
so we need to copy just all jars file there, or folder also needed.
No. So
Only
okay,
jar
this
file.
is also fine. So now select the 3 files, Sandeep. Only the 3 files. 1, 2, 3. Right click and add to build path. Right click, build path, add to build path.
Okay, fine. But okay, so this could be done by like this also, right?
Yeah,
By
yeah.
adding.
Generally people get confused with that, so I told it like that. But yes,
Okay,
this build
got it.
same thing is the same thing. Okay.
So I'll stop sharing.
Yeah. Okay. Done. Anamika, are you done?
I'm just copying that. I have copied those file. Now I'm copying to, you said build path, right?
Yeah.
Build path and use as source file and or configure.
Share your screen.
Okay. Okay. So here and build path and configure build path.
Is we escape. Where is the jar files? Where did you copy the jar files here?
Oh, okay. Jar files are here.
Copy them.
Yeah, I copied.
Copy it in the Eclipse. Copy here and put it there.
Okay. And
Paste
should
it.
I copy? Okay, paste it here. Synopsis.
Paste up. Control V, Anamika.
Yeah, here.
No, Anamika. Test ng1 folder. Control V. Yes.
Okay.
Expand it. Select the 3 files. Right click on that. And go to build path.
Sorry. Okay.
And say add to build path. That's it. Okay. So you're set up.
Okay.
Others, Pallavi and others, are you done?
Yes, we are done.
Smita?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so what we will do is we'll resume our session in the coming weekend. This is a big topic, TestNG. I cannot do it in next 5-10 minutes. It's a pretty big topic. So please make sure that you get or make time to revise the things which you have missed and play around a little bit with what I have told. So as I was telling you a little while back, that let me share my screen. So I have already given one example here to make use of this, calling a particular test step, right? So try to write 3 test steps or try to create different test cases. In each test case have a test step, and try to write Groovy script to access data here and there and perform the automation or execution of the Groovy script to call each of these methods, right? Makes sense. Sandeep, Pallavi, can you please try it before we meet for the next session, so that you will have confidence in what we have done, and then we can start writing more automation scripts.
Yeah.
Guys, girls.
Naresh,
Yeah.
when will you have some time to take a look in my
Ping me on today's Sunday, right? My Sunday. Can you ping me tomorrow, my late evening, and it will be morning for you. I'm already there on chat, so you ping me anytime whenever it works out. This week is really very tight for me, lot of things. So just ping me. I'll see when we can meet. My little late in evening will be better. Because morning I might be traveling on all that. Fine. So ping me tomorrow. Means it's a date for me. My early morning or late evening tomorrow. Ping me anytime. We'll see when we can meet and sort out the issue.
Yeah, because I just need to see that Groovy thing. I uninstalled it on this
So there is
Eclipse.
no need to keep Groovy in Eclipse. Whatever, if you we will see. Let's see if it is needed, we'll install it. But otherwise, if you are understanding the Groovy script that I'm explaining on the SOAP UI, then that's pretty fine for now. But if you want
Oh,
to,
so I can just, like you said, I can just create a normal Java project and run it as a Groovy script.
no,
Normal Java class and.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, right click run as, if you have the plugin, it will run as a Groovy script.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Sandeep, Pallavi, I hope your setup is done.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we will connect in the coming weekend and continue with our discussion.
Okay.
Thank you for your time. I'll upload today's videos and yesterday's videos as soon as I
Yeah.
there was some problem with yesterday's video, but today's video I'll upload within next half an hour to 1 hour. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'll see you all next weekend.
Thank you.